was in the middle of defence when Tom Aldred was absent. More often than not, Kai Truan now filling in that Jack Hingett role / Josh Brindle South role as the right wing back. Toffel Stanley searching long, borderline offside again. O'Donovan, who gave up the chase in the end, perhaps knowing that he'd strayed slightly. Brown looking for Wenzel Halls. And Bogart's pass just had enough on it to get back to Duncan. Thurgate anchoring midfield. O'Doherty and Abbas playing ahead of him. Here's O'Toole. He'll be able to leave the Australian winter behind midweek and head to Marbella in Spain. Join up that Olyroos select squad. There he is again, the former Brisbane Roar man. Back to Jamie Young, seemingly playing his last game, last season rather, with the Roar. Appears he'll be headed elsewhere come the end of the season. Newcastle have hardly had a settled number one, as the rotation between Italiano and Duncan shows, so you never know, he could be playing this joint next season. Jamie Young. As Thurgate misses O'Donovan, who's buzzing about up top.
Yeah, hungry as ever, Roy. Not really anything to feast off yet. Neither the Brisbane strikers. There's plenty of zip about the game.
Bogart, third start in a row for him since returning from his long absence. Poked back to Aldred. Much more intimidating, steely look about a Brisbane lineup when you see Tom Aldred's name on the team sheet.
Yeah, and his injury, one might have thought would leave a bigger hole than it did, but I think it actually reflects really well on the job he did when he was playing to build the strength of Brisbane's defence, so that when a youngster, in this case Truan, comes in, the role is well defined and the behaviours are well defined. And quite Truan, to his credit, has been able to maintain that momentum defensively for Brisbane, at least contribute to it. But of course, better to have Tom back in the team, and he's a big addition.
Seem to remember here in January when they won 2-1, we thought he was going to go off before the break, and he soldiered on in the second half with a hamstring, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the night that happened. And injury did slow him down for a while. Here's Wenzel Halls, who was borderline offside when he retrieved that one. Flag stayed down. Danzaki through the legs to Parsons. Brisbane with a slow, methodical build here, stringing the passes together. Kai Truan delivers. Back post, Danzaki trying to make something happen. Katrumbas hacked it out only as far as Corey Brown, and that was a half chance for him.
Good enough form, Corey Brown, to make more of the half chance. Brisbane not profiting. Katrumbas with not a very convincing clearance, and that set up reasonably for Corey Brown. He's got a very nice left foot, has been in great form, would have expected himself to have done better there. And of all the talk about the Olyroos going to Spain in the training camp, Speedy, Angus Thurgate hasn't made that cut. Which I'm assuming doesn't mean he's totally out of the reckoning if he does something miraculous, but still, you'd have to assume that for Angus that provides some incentive to finish the season domestically very, very strongly.
Barry with quick feet inside his own area with Hoffman lurking. O'Shea dropping deep. He's actually completed the most passes of any player in the A-League in the attacking third this season. Jay O'Shea started this attack from deep this time, and Wenzel Halls getting the better of Katrumbas, who was then nudged over Wenzel Halls by Katrumbas, but no risk of a penalty, as Adam Kersey had a good view of it, tonight's referee. A couple of awkward moments already for Johnny Katrumbas, though.
Yeah, well, he's another player in that Olympic discussion mid-year out of that last camp they had. He did very well, but a bit scratchy to start this one. It was a lovely ball forward from Matt Miller soon thereafter to find Jason Hoffman.
Toffel Stanley with a bit of razzle-dazzle, no-look right foot pass there. Doesn't often give us that one. Playing with some freedom. O'Donovan. Deflects out for a Newcastle throw. No, it doesn't. Well, the assistant was giving it Brisbane's way. The referee had clearly seen it and overruled the man with the flag. Diving in, O'Donovan. A little recklessly, according to the referee. Those kinds of challenges just not approved by A-League refs.
Well, it's Parsons with the fluoros. I think Roy might have got there first, but there was studs up and a strong. He did get there first too. Split second it might have been. It took a couple of looks to confirm that. The ref obviously only gets the one look.
Sloppy giveaway here by Brisbane. Likewise, O'Toole. Tanzaki. Wenzel Halls in behind Katrumbas again, but Bogart had tracked the run and then had a little clip at him. Brisbane appealed for a foul. Just starting to find their groove, the Raw. Stringing some passes together. Or Stanley holding off Parsons though. Donovan engaging Aldred. Good use of the body by Thurgate. And observing the opening exchanges pitch side is Mark Bosnich. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Brenton. Good evening to Andy Harper and to all our viewers watching wherever they may be around the world. 18 degrees Celsius here tonight. Really good night for football. Bit of a stiff breeze coming from right to left as you're watching from the corner flag over in the far corner, south-southeast. And both sides playing very, very similar. See Ali Abbas here with the ball. It was very interesting to see where he would start. He's a lot further forward than I thought he would be. Jason Hoffman is together up front with O'Donovan. There's a shot from Ali Abbas. Just goes straight over. And from the other side, from Brisbane Roar, there was a bit of consternation between Adam and ourselves where Kai Truan would play, where he's basically playing right wing back. So Brisbane still have the three centre backs, but Corey Brown and Kai Truan are making up the wing back positions. They come all the way back when they need to do. But a lot of times they're starting a lot higher, and it's a position that obviously we haven't seen Kai Truan playing very much. So we're very interested to see how he goes.
Yeah, he's shown his versatility, played in midfield, which is his preferred position, central defence, and now right wing back. A young player with a massive future. 23rd game for him tonight. Just turned 20.
Well, it's a replica story of Johnny Katrumbas playing in blue tonight. He came to Newcastle from Adelaide as a midfielder and has played pretty much everything but since he's been a Newcastle Jet. Maybe that's the fate that awaits Kai Truan. He's been very impressive in this season of the A-League.
Corey Brown. Tanzaki just drifting between the lines and finding space early on here. Barry went one way, Brown passed it the other. Interesting that Jason Hoffman, as soon as he spoke to you guys in the pre-game interview, mentioned the fact that these two teams do set up in a very similar fashion, and sometimes they can cancel one another out. Now, 3-4-3. Pass by Neville. Alex Parsons hasn't been able to get into the game yet. He was brilliant as a sub. Scored that goal against the Mariners. Now having to do it as a starter in back-to-back games. Tanzaki. All the way back to Jamie Young, but they're now shading the possession stat Brisbane after a slow start to this game. Good movement from Wenzel Halls. Tanzaki good enough to find him. And the delivery, I think intended for Parsons at the back post, wasn't too far away from the top corner in the end.
And frustrating for a team. And Dylan Wenzel Halls, of course, too. Very patient, build up, and then when they went for it, they were very, very efficient until the last moment. Lack of concentration is certainly Wenzel Hall's capable of finding Parsons on that back post, but just maybe a lack of concentration at the final moment.
Oh, Tanzaki was looking at teammates, talking to them, and Akbari tried to pass it to him. Just a few little moments like that so far for the Raw that they won't look back on fondly. Warren Moon will want to see his side a bit sharper, a bit more focused. Fixtures have been coming thick and fast. Not a whole lot of time for Warren Moon to go to work on the training pitch, and there he is, able to see Ramad Akbari eye to eye and said, come on, mate, spark up a little for me.
And you're exactly right there, Brenton. There's a lot of concern here on the Brisbane bench. The fact that, considering what they've got to play for, that the tempo is not really what it should be. And they're like going through the motions. And I think that concern will come back to the fact they're probably thinking to themselves, you know, listen, we're playing Newcastle back into form here. Let's get a move on. Let's get close to them. Let's close them down. There's 3 points available here, vital 3 points.
O'Donovan curled back to get onside, and disappointing delivery from Ali Abbas that time. Back-to-back starts for him for the first time this season.
Yeah, a player of his experience and ability. That was a really poor mistake from Ali Abbas.
Barry, after his coach's promptings, found O'Shea with a crisp pass. Gillespie. A lot of good things tend to start when Gillespie can get proactive from that central defensive position.
And there was a great snapshot there. If you could get the Newcastle defence, look at them. Not so much now. There's Conor O'Toole coming forward about how many players they've got back. They've got 5 players back against 3 players from Brisbane. And that's why they're getting outnumbered in midfield. One of those 2 wide fullbacks have got to come into midfield.
Another topic spoken about pre-game. Craig Dean's talking about the starting positions of the wing-backs. Now he's been trying to get them to push further up the pitch if they can. It comes down to what the opposition is doing against you as well, going the other way, as he spoke about. Just 7 points out of a possible 45 since he landed the full-time job, Craig Deans. Hasn't worked out as the club might have hoped when he was appointed back in February full-time. Oh, somehow that ball slid its way through to O'Donovan. Not sure he was the target of Topo Stanley's pass. Elliot Bass headed off at the pass by Neville. Topo Stanley, who leads the league in intercepts, dealt with that. I've seen Brisbane go on the road and play in their black kit and really turn it on. Tonight they're in the white kit, as Newcastle in the darker shade in their blue. Sometimes teams can struggle to turn it on in the white kit as opposed to the black. Maybe that's a factor, Andy. What do you reckon?
Maybe the black at night is difficult to detect. Maybe that's how they...
Stealth operation.
Stealth, that's right. They're very cautious, Brisbane, and I'm prepared to cut them the slack on that. No one wants to come to a team out of finals contention and come a cropper and do, apart from the points that are sacrificed, it can really knock a team's confidence around. So there's an unintentional caution that seems to descend upon a team, and Brisbane seem to be in that category at the moment. Maybe caution too strong a word, but they haven't been very adventuresome. Jordan O'Doherty back in the team tonight. Not sure what Akbari did wrong there. The referee didn't like it.
Yeah, Akbari talked it over with Adam Kersey, shielding his mouth from prying cameras a la Ante Milicic. And he was trying to raise that same protest that you did. Just got there, Kai Truhan for O'Shea, past Thurgate, and now Truhan on the move, but Topo Stanley, such an intimidating presence in defence for Newcastle, seems to get there first more often than not. Some effort to have played 100 games at a single A-League venue. Nikolai Topo Stanley has played 300 plus A-League games, of course, and scored a goal of the season at this venue as well. A cracker from 30 metres out last season. Neville looking for the diagonal that Miller was able to cut out. He can now push on. He's around his man and clearly barged off the ball. Gillespie was a little sluggish, and as a result, he's in the book.
Oh, Miller had his measure. Really good positive play from Nat Miller there. The switch of play from Brisbane was actually a bit of a lottery pass. He was absolutely cooked, Macaulay Gillespie there. Didn't even look to see if he had help, which he did. Tommy Aldred might have come across. I think he has a word with Gillespie on the way and says, mate, it's a bit of a needless yellow. I could have got him. Gillespie says to Corey Brown, where were you? That was your turf. A couple of questions being asked around the Brisbane defence.
Hoffman's delivery. Bogard got ahead on it. O'Donovan able to keep it in play. Back to the set piece taker. And it deflects off Hoffman, double ricochet, Brisbane's throw.
Still a chance for Newcastle to keep the rule locked in here. I thought O'Donovan might have been offside there on that Bogard header, but it's all gone through. And a chance for Brisbane to really, for Newcastle to lock Brisbane in here.
You mentioned Gillespie looked cooked when picking up that yellow card. He's only missed the one game this season, and that was due to suspension. Picked up that red card, and he's someone that Newcastle might be able to target here because he looks physically fatigued, which is understandable. Brisbane have been playing so many games back to back to back every 3 or 4 days lately. Matt Miller went down after minimal contact, and now it's time to check on his welfare. Lance Trust goes to work on the Jets bench. New face there as well. Right-hand man for Craig Deans. Carl Dodd. A recent addition after being the coach of Guam for a long time.
I'm not sure how active the Guam football program has been in recent times with COVID, etc., and the suspension of international matches. Wouldn't be the only program that's been sitting gathering dust. So the Newcastle Jets have welcomed Carl Dodd.
Can't wait to see the Socceroos get back into action. 4 World Cup qualifiers coming your way on Fox Sports in the next month. Johnny Young really sprinting back into position. You don't see that too often from the veteran goalkeeper. Took the opportunity to have a chat to the bench and get a swig on the water bottle. There's Parsons. Matt Miller back in position and moving okay. Setting up with a back 4 at the moment. Toole pushing out on Truant. For Stanley just escorting Wenzel Halls across the sideline and prompting the whistle. About Ali Abbas's role from this set piece.
Thought, don't you? Positioned ahead, the ball clear. Technique let him down, and maybe Jack Duncan could have bailed him out. We were deceived by the angle of things, but the net result is a corner for Brisbane.
Which Corey Brown delivers near post. Header only as far as O'Shea. And Zaki, good looking ball in. And the header is in the back of the net, but the flag is up to deny Wenzel Halls a drought breaker. VAR might yet be able to see this one stand. Brisbane fans hope.
Well, Adam Kersey is just asking to delay the restart whilst that one is checked. Danzaki, great turn, great cross. It's close. It's real close. We've got Connor O'Toole, 24 for Newcastle.
I thought it was good real time. The flag was up in an instant, though, and players are already starting to celebrate with Dylan Wenzel Halls. Brisbane are sure they've got the opener, and the number 23 has his first goal in 8 games. Can't wipe the smile off his face. Warren Moon's pretty chirpy too. Newcastle ready to take the free kick, but they'll have to... No. The VAR says that it's confirmed the offside just when Brisbane were ready to celebrate. Nearly picked off at the other end. O'Donovan was running in behind. So Andy Harper's favourite lines are being drawn up, and they'll be with you in a moment.
Well, maybe more controversy. It was certainly tight. And the assistant, to his credit, flagged immediately. So his instinct was offside, which is what they're trained to do. Make a judgment, put your flag up or not. The technology then comes in and draws the lines, sometimes a little erratically.
A black and white decision is offside, or blue and red when the lines come in. We'll get to those in a moment. Brisbane fans will be demanding an inquiry if those lines are dubious. Wenzel Halls thinking, why me? O'Shea lifting it in, out comes Duncan. Still 0-0, nearly half an hour in Newcastle. The big talking point. Stylish movement from O'Toole. That was a very near thing, the release ball for Ali Abbas, trying to make the run in behind. Bogard let it bounce. Wenzel Halls across his bows and takes on the strike. It was awkward. Bouncing ball for Duncan. Oof. It's almost friendly fire. Oh, Bogard throwing his body around. The two Jets came together. It was because one of them had been pushed by Jay O'Shea.
Doherty caught on the way through by Bogard accidentally. Foul committed on Doherty.
Jordan O'Doherty left the Wanderers when Stephen Ugarkovic went the other way. Ugarkovic now getting ready for his first Sydney derby on Sunday afternoon at the SCG. A massive game to look forward to there. Fixtures coming thick and fast in the A-League. Doubleheader tomorrow. Wellington against Western United at Sky Stadium in New Zealand. Can't wait for that one tomorrow. 2 p.m. here on the eastern seaboard of Australia. Big crowd expected. Biggest crowd in New Zealand sport since COVID began, apparently. Biggest ever turn up in the yellow fever section as well tomorrow. And then another massive game. Melbourne City against the Mariners. A chance for Melbourne City to clinch their first A-League silverware. Premier's Plate available to them. Aldred, nice punchy diagonal. Brown to Akbari. Bit more synergy about the Raw. A little deflection from Abbas has set up the potential of a counter-attack here. And Valentino Yule to utilise his pace, so Matt Miller eventually got forward, and it was a slow kind of counter.
Yeah, it was a brave run from Matt Miller. It was hiding to nothing really, but he chased it down. Jason Hoffman overhitting the pass. It opened up promisingly for the Jets, but no real sign thereafter that they were going to threaten Brisbane's goal.
Gillespie capable of picking the right kind of pass. What about that 55-metre switch of play to Truitt? Newcastle well organised, both defences proving difficult to break down. Looking to work the 1-2, proving a headache for Katrumbas once more. Riku Danzaki. Wenzel Halls tried again. Topo Stanley was tracking his run that time. Ali Abbas throwing himself around. Kai Truan good enough to tidy up. There's some frustration for the Jets fans about the way they're passing it around, losing possession so quickly. That time O'Donovan is fouled. We can now go back and clarify this offside. So there's the knee and the red line of Wenzel Halls.
Yeah, which has taken a little bit of a U-turn. I mean, again, there we go. An otherwise excellent goal.
But we've sat in there and seen them calibrate and also find the furthest point forward of the attacker and the furthest point back of the defender, and they are very precise with the way they set it up. It may not come out that way on the television screens. Andy Harper can't see them, but Mark Bosnich, you'd be confident in what they've done back at the VAR centre?
Well, I am, because I know how they calibrate it before the game. They take still pictures of all the lines and calibrate. Let's just let this go.
Here's Wenzel Halls. Cutback finds Danzaki. And Parsons places it in the bottom corner, courtesy of a deflection, and Brisbane lead now. After the VAR controversy, he's a cool customer, Alex Parsons. Jamie Young comes to celebrate with the two front men. And the Queensland Raw / Brisbane Raw supporters pretty happy too.
Well, there's a long-time fan of the A-League. That's a Season 1 tracksuit. And this is not a Season 1 player. He's the latest off the production line. Alexander Parsons, a muted celebration, you'd suggest, probably because of the bobble it took and the deflection along the way. But they all count. He deserves his goal. He's been really exciting since his introduction to A-League football. He hasn't featured much tonight, and it's his first real touch, and it's a touch of meaning.
Maybe he doesn't celebrate assists. He knows that's come off Danzaki's back heel, and the Japanese import will be Brisbane's outright leading goal scorer. He was onside when it deflected off him and past a wrong-footed Jack Duncan. And the Jets fans could sense that goal coming. Their team was so sloppy in possession for the 3 or 4 minutes before that goal. The goal has been credited to Riku Danzaki for being right place, right time, and not having an eye on the ball. Clear top of the shirt by Wenzel Halls. Brisbane now in position at a happy hunting ground, looking for their 12th win here in Newcastle. Only 6 defeats against the Jets. Warren Moon's actually unbeaten at this venue. They played a few home games here last season during the COVID, and that's what it means. They'll be 3 points clear in 6th spot and breathing down the necks of the 3 above them. Top 4 finish is what Warren Moon is eyeing off in a home final. Their run-in features Melbourne City, who may well have wrapped up the Premier's plate by then. The Wanderers away, Perth Glory and Sydney FC at home. Good little tune-up that is for the finals if they do get there. Ask for the offside flag against Wenzel Halls, and they get it again here. They look like a finals team to you, Brisbane?
Well, of course they do. It's such a logjam of points. All those teams look like finals propositions, and particularly on their day. All the teams in the race have very, very good moments. Capable of producing great football and dominating football, so they should all believe they can make a serious dent in the championship race and get into that top 6. Brisbane are in that discussion for sure. Keeping in mind, Joey Chanters is not playing tonight only because of his loan deal from Newcastle.
Plenty of physicality going on between Aldred and O'Donovan. Watch this space between those two. Parsons. Defended by Topo Stanley. No shortage of advice for Adam Kersey, tonight's referee, from the players out there. One back by Truant. There's a chance to go quickly here. Parsons has been found with the vertical pass. There's that ability to change direction and earn his team free kicks. Brisbane haven't scored from a penalty or free kick all season. The only team in the comp that hasn't achieved that so far. That had a tail on it. Had the chance to score their first spot kick in Adelaide. Was repelled by James Delianov. Truant thought he might have kept that one in. If it wasn't kept in, it was a Brisbane throw, and eventually the referee has overruled his assistant again. It struck the hand of Menzel Halls. The natives are restless here at McDonald Jones Stadium. O'Donovan. By Akbari. It's a little stop-start at the moment,
which is suiting Newcastle, because Brisbane are looking pretty comfortable, and if they were able to get into some flow, the Jets might be in more trouble. Brisbane stopping the game principally with a lot of fouls. O'Donovan's a bit of a punching bag for the Raw so far this evening. But it's all for Brisbane at the moment. It's the Jets who have to change the tempo of the game.
Jets credited with one shot so far. Possession has dwindled below 40% now as Brisbane take hold again. Parsons, Wenzel Halls, around one, around two, Dylan Wenzel Halls, and blocked off by Bogart in the end. Parsons goes for goal and wasn't too far away from dipping that over. Jack Duncan, he's a special talent coming through, this kid.
And he started very well. There was a good run through midfield to start the attack, and then the speculator. Jack Duncan calm in the end, but it looked good off the boot. I certainly appreciate the thinking behind it from Alexander Parsons.
Card coming out for that one. Jason Hoffman joins Gillespie in the book.
Maybe a bit of frustration from Hoffman. They're getting further and further off the pace here, the Jets. 42 in. Jamie Young having to do laps of his own penalty area to keep warm.
Parsons again upended. Thurgate has committed more fouls than anyone else this season. Add that one to the collection. Look like a team very low on confidence, Newcastle. Not many sparks out there. Mark Bosnich for the Jets.
Unfortunately, no, not for the Jets. And as soon as they concede, obviously their heads go down. But you've got to say Brisbane, since the 20th minute mark, have been playing really well. Deserve their lead and probably deserve even more. But Newcastle, familiar story for them. And they've got to find something within to break, to, you know, just like a trial law would object to another trial law, to break up this rhythm of when they go 1-0 down, the heads go down, they start giving away fouls. You've got to find something, some type of spark, something different.
Another corner to face up to. Jay O'Shea has eventually gotten across to take. Breeze just picking up in that part of the ground in particular. Duncan comes. No whistle. And the Jets sort it out in the end. Aldred just waited for any contact, and a hand came out from Toffel Stanley. Does this offer the chance to score from a free kick for the first time in the entire campaign? Being left for Corey Brown. Deft little flick, and may have taken it off a teammate there. Tom Aldred with the header.
A nice variation, very, very delicate from Corey Brown. That's the quality of his left foot. Because why that chance to him earlier might have been more telling for Brisbane. But this was a nice variation. It was a narrow angle, but it was still one they were prepared to explore. And either of them, Neville asked the question, Skipper, you're just back to the team. Take a chill. And they finish it off.
Queenslander Warren Moon all rugged up in Newcastle. Done a great job with Brisbane. They've proved very stout defensively. Conceded just 22 goals all season. More pressure to absorb here as Scott Neville gives up the throw to Newcastle. Bogard knows time is ticking away before half-time, so joins the attack. And Miller's crossing from the wide area lets him down. Haven't seen a whole lot of Rami Nazarene lately, but he might be a candidate to come on and liven things up for the home team in the second half. It's Riku Danzaki's goal that he knew nothing about that separates the two teams at the break. Got in the road of Alex Parsons' shot, and it squirmed its way past Jack Duncan in goal. At half-time at McDonald Jones Stadium, it's Brisbane 1, Newcastle 0. And they're keeping a clean sheet again, the Raw. Plenty of advice for the officials again. Dylan Wenzel-Hall's not at all happy with the goal that was disallowed. But Brisbane are delighted to have Tom Aldred back. and he's about to chat to Adam.